Good afternoon, tribal leaders who are still here, and especially the grassroots people and treaty people who are here today, and the tribal historic preservation officers who are still here, and thank you, federal agencies, for being here and allowing me to speak, and especially for our people up there in Standing Rock who are camped. Our prayers are with them and our thoughts are with them. I'm Kenny Frost. I am a Native American consultant and I help a lot of people. I have a background in natural resources, a little bit in law, and got out of that for self-preservation purposes and Indian education as well, background. And I've been doing this since the very beginning in '89 when NAGPRA was going to be passed. I fought for NAGPRA and many of the federal laws, and even gone to so many historic preservation meetings regarding all the federal statutes that govern Native American sites, particularly our sacred sites, the procedures, trained, certified federal archaeologists, state, federal, private, as well as government directors, and trained them in the use of the federal laws. And some of you look familiar because you're still here when I was doing that. And we have that working relationship that we have worked so hard to work with the Native tribes and push those. And just as you said, there are two processes to the consultation. And there shouldn't be two processes. It was supposed to be streamlined to be one. But it's so hard that federal agencies have to say we have to go this way, depending which federal agency you talk to. Because another federal agency, no, this is the one that we have to do, and I don't know why they're going that route. So then you have the inner conflict between federal agencies. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And that's what makes it hard and it makes it difficult. Now, I've been involved with the Army Corps since 92, 93, and I have talked to Colonel Henderson, who I'm glad I got to meet, to give you a little bit of that brief history before your predecessors were here. And that was managing the Missouri River from boundary to boundary, and I helped them do that and get that. And that's how Standing Rock got to have that part of the river. Technically, the Great Lakota Nation should be in charge of the whole river. But unfortunately, due to us being placed on reservations and our traditional homelands are no longer there, that they should all be managing the river. But it doesn't work out that way because of what happened. We cannot change what happened in the past when we were forced to Indian country in Oklahoma. We can't change to where we're at today on those reservations, but we have these laws to help us manage these things. And in the Army Corps' own documents, there is a section that even Army Corps has, and that says, water is life. In the Army Corps documents, water is life. We are still saying that today. Our people at camp, many of my children. You hear the people talk passionate from their heart. Each and every one of you federal directors, you have heard this constantly, over and over and over. And I've been to those consultation meetings where you have heard people talk. You have heard them cry. They have pleaded with you. And unfortunately, some federal directors or agencies do not. This is how it is, this is how it's going to be, this is what we're going to do. It doesn't work that way. Regulations. Even Army Corps of Engineers' own documents cite ARFA laws, 1906, NAGPRA of 1990, the Indian Freedom of Religion Act, 78, and the amendments. And there's even a section that says if a Native tribe wants to come in or people want to come in onto Army Corps lands to worship, no problem. And that's what our people were doing. Even when you look at the videos of our protectors trying to cross the Missouri to go over to that mountain where the burial sites are there, all they wanted to do was pray for those ancestors because those sites are desecrated. I was there September 3rd when the dogs attacked us. And where they bladed, unless you're trained to identify those burial sites, you can look at the ground at a certain angle and you can see the indentions of those burials. But only a trained eye has that ability to see that. And those were there. And even to a point that an archaeologist said, here's the human remains. In the Army Corps documents, it also talks work stoppage. The key point was, if human remains are discovered on Army Corps lands, as well as other federal lands that also had that same statement, work stops immediately. That did not happen. What should have happened was the tribal archaeologists should have came in on site along with the Army Corps officials, because that's in every federal agency's document. If we find human remains, project stops until we get that cleared, get the human remains whether relocated or reroute that route in order to protect those human remains. And I've been to so many of those with federal agencies that they stopped the project totally. That did not happen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read some of the things. And mind you, what I'm reading is Army Corps language, not the Native tribes. Army Corps, what they wrote. Like I said, they even have it in their own documents. Water is life. And we went, and I worked with the tribal shippos yesterday, and we went through Army Corps documents. We accessed them, we got them. And there's quite a few documents that we went through, but we highlighted the key points, which are very important. And this was done with your predecessors before you. And this is going to be a training session. That's why the tribes, that some of the people were saying, we need to have a training session with you to train you, to bring you up to par. Unfortunately, federal directors change hands a few years, and we have to go back, retrain them. Directors of different agencies within the federal agency, we have to go back in, retrain them. This is what the documents say. This is what was said. This is what was agreed upon. And it's always a continuing cycle to train government officials, sadly. And unfortunately, each one of you guys are going to be leaving. But, okay, good. Great. That's a good. Yeah, so even though you guys are going to leave, and we always go through this process when the new president comes in, because he wants to put his own staff, is that just because you're leaving, you can still make an impact. You can make a positive impact. And that's what you want to leave is, I did this. I helped the tribes. I can do it. And I want you to do that with that frame of mind here. Remain positive. Now, the Army Corps and their own agreements regarding access to religious and cultural sites, they have cited all the federal laws that govern Indian tribes, from the Archaeological Law, NAGPRA, Indian Freedom of Religious Act. That's all in there, and it's addressed. There's even definitions, which sometimes a couple of the definitions say a little bit more than what we would say in there, but it's in there. And Army Corps wanted to do the right thing, and that was good. I was like, hey, that's pretty good. That's stronger than what I would have said, but it works. Because some of that, what happened before the PAs even existed, we had drafted up MOUs, MOAs, and those are still in effect. The tribes expect the Corps to exercise genuine stewardships with respect to places that hold religious and cultural importance for the tribes, and to share the stewardship of these special places with tribes. Whether this is called shared stewardship or cooperative management, and in other items, the tribes expect the relationship that develops between the Corps and the tribe to be a respectful and cooperative, with the ultimate objective of protecting these sacred and culturally important places and reassuring access to religious and cultural activities. Army Corps' words. And that's what the tribes are saying today. And this is in their document. Finally, tribes anticipating that this shared stewardship document will ensure that our sacred and cultural places are regarded and understood from a native standpoint, with our values and customs applied to the protection and not necessarily of those of archaeology, which means that the sacred sites, that we can go out there and do worshiping, and Army Corps agrees to that, as long as we let them know. And there's always that working with federal lands and agencies, is we always have to let the federal agency know, hey, we want to take a group up there and go pray. We're going to pray, then we're going to leave. Leave everything untouched. Just take what we need, bring it back out. And that's what we have always done with a lot of different Indian tribes. We have gone to those special places. In the Army Corps of Engineers own PA regarding the National Historic Preservation Act, they have stated this. This is a very important, in black and white, as per their own agreement. Now the kicker here is, and I've been saying this from the very beginning, is, which I've been saying since September 16th, Army Corps speaks of the federal undertaking, meaning all federal laws kick in on private and state lands on any federal projects with dollars, manpower, phone calls made to the government and with state officials. And every federal agency that I have worked with has that. When, even though it's a Army Corps, U.S. Forest Service, BLM, that's traversing through private and state lands, and it's a federal project fully funded by the federal government, those federal laws kick in automatically. And we know that. And Army Corps has that, saying that that's a federal undertaking. State of South Dakota saying, no, we have jurisdiction over this land. We don't, because it's federal dollars by Army Corps. And the approval. And even in Colorado, there could be a project that the state of Colorado is doing, that one phone call to the federal agency, those federal laws kick in automatically. Because now you just spent communicating with the federal agency, and those federal laws kick in. And that's how we stopped a lot of projects, to make sure that these federal laws are adhered to and and working with together. And even in the compliance of the National Historic Preservation Act, in the whereas, in Army Corps' documents, whereas the Corps is responsible for complying with the National Historic Preservation Act, as amended herein, the NEPA 8965 Public Law, and amended, including Section 110, that requires federal agencies to establish a program to preserve, protect, identify, evaluate, and nominate historic properties under the jurisdiction and control, including traditional cultural properties and historic properties under their jurisdiction and control, including traditional cultural properties and historic properties in which tribes attach religious and cultural significance in the consultation with others, and two, to give full consideration in the preservation of historic properties not under the jurisdiction or control, but to affect the federal agency undertaking. Once again, talking about the undertaking. Whereas the Army Corps main stand system operation management action under the definition of undertaking for the purpose of Section 106 of NEPA, and therefore the Army Corps is responsible for complying with Section 106 and these actions, and whereas the Corps is required by Section 101, Section C6 of the NEPA to consult with any Indian tribe that has attached religious and cultural significance to historic properties that may be affected by the proposed federal undertaking in Section 106.
Ken, we're going to have to cut off here because we've lost the room. It's 4 o'clock. If you would love to see your materials, I think Army's, since you're mostly addressing them, would be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, let me just say this one point then. In Army Corps' own documents, they cite all the federal laws that deal with sacred religious sites and protection. And they have not abided by their own rules, and their own words. And that's what I'm bringing out, because they need to do that and try to work as quickly as with the tribe. Mind you, and even in one of the documents, in the Army Corps' own language, they consulted with 19 tribes in May, and then the following year, in April, consulted with those same 19 tribes a year later. Everybody from Montana, from the headwaters to Missouri, but they didn't consult with the tribes that came in from Canada. They also need to be included because there was no imaginary lines. So it's important that, and there's a signature. Mr. Henry said there was only 4. I have the document that shows well over 17 signatures on the Army Corps document that I have in my possession. So I want to say thank you, and we're going to turn this in as part of the testimony because it's something that needs to be brought up from Army Corps' own words. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
For allowing me to speak.
So,